weapon. Unclear if it was a knife or a gun, but definitely a weapon. Also, that suspect making gestures towards the officers, and again, those gestures are possibly suicidal. You can see him waving a hand out there. I can't see if he's got something in his hand, but definitely there's some issues going. Well, clearly, if you're going to carjack a vehicle, chances are you have some issues. Here we go. Here we go. And, whoa, just almost. But at these speeds, they're going to keep trying. And with what's been going on, I believe that they're really going to make an aggressive attempt to bring this to an end. Even if the speeds get a little bit higher, clearly there are no other vehicles here on the freeway, so that's going to make it a little easier for the LAPD. But a valiant attempt right there. Now it looks like this is we're going to be getting off an off-ramp, which is sad, because that's going to put us back in with the mixed in with the public. But we've seen him slow down before as he makes that turn. Possibly another pit maneuver coming up here very shortly. Beach Boulevard, Beach Boulevard, Beach Boulevard, Beach Boulevard. Oh, come on. Yep. Yeah. Here comes another pit, there. Whoa, that was a hard one right there. And that vehicle's still moving. Officers, these are going to be some sheriff's department down there and LAPD all working together. They're going to kind of definitely block him in, but he's got that opportunity to back up, and we've seen that in the past. So not sure if they got that vehicle that actually did the pit coming back, maybe possibly to block him in. Look, there he goes. He's starting to back up, and that's going to be an issue. But LAPD definitely wants to bring this thing to an end, getting a little aggressive now. And again, that driver continues to just elude that going into custody. Now just backing up. Again, I never want to, definitely on Beach Boulevard and right by now that he's got that opportunity to turn it around and keep it going. But again, here we go again, and now we're in with traffic once again, and we're in the Orange County, the Buena Park area, but definitely in Orange County, moving slowly as officers get back in their vehicles, and then hopefully they'll try to do another one of these pit maneuvers here once again. Just bring this thing to an end, to get that guy into custody before somebody really gets hurt. I'm sorry. That's going to be LAPD down there. The first vehicles in line. I'm sorry, I was listening to the broadcast, trying to find out any more information we could about it. The pursuit continues on out here. That vehicle moving very, very slowly. A lot of traffic down there. That actually might be a plus. We've seen that in the past, where basically he'll just get blocked in by traffic. Right now, though, it looks like the light just turned green, so he's going to be making that late. Oh no, he's keeping on straight. LAPD clearly authorized to do a pit maneuver. Perhaps they'll try to do it again. That not blocking them in, you know what? I'm the guy in the helicopter. I'm definitely not a law enforcement officer. They probably had their reasons and why they did not do that. But right now, very slow speeds, and it kind of makes you wonder, too, why we're going so slow. If it has something to do with that vehicle, or perhaps, you know, it might just be that driver. But if it is that vehicle, why are they driving slower? Is it something mechanical that might help bring this to an end? But again, though, it's just a very lethargic chase right now as we're in the Buena Park area. Looks like we're getting back into a very residential neighborhood, just making blocks. It seems like we said it in the past. He just, whatever opportunity he has available, like if there would have been something blocking him, he probably would have made a turn. But LAPD back to keeping a little bit of distance. There's many opportunities where they could have tried to pit him once again, but right now this little Honda Civic, as described as a 2014, still moving along very, very slowly out here. And these officers, I can imagine their frustration right now. They probably, as much as many of the viewers, just want to bring this to an end. Yep. That's right, but you know they have to coordinate all that type of information, and perhaps they are working with the Buena Park law enforcement, or they might be able to get one of their own vehicles out ahead of it. But right now, though, these slow speeds and then the ability for this driver just to change lanes constantly, he's not making blocks, to get a vehicle in front to deploy those spike strips, that would be very difficult. Right now, though, looks like a green light for the suspect, which works out for everybody down there. But again, very slow speeds. And Marla, you're right. These are the types of speeds where that officer could make his way up there safely and do that pit maneuver. Maybe it's going to happen right now. And yeah, but it seems like when he gets a little closer, now you see the cat's out of the bag. That's probably my third cat reference today. But the cat's out of the bag right there, and you know you can't just kind of sneak up on him. That suspect probably knowing when that LAPD cruiser gets closer, they're going to try to pit him. So he's going to speed up every time. Now, again, we've heard in the past that there's a window or an envelope of speeds where they can do it safely. In some cases, that envelope might stretch a little bit, especially when it's a suspect like this and they just want to bring this to a stop.
Near misses. Early on, we saw a near collision head-on between the suspect and a big rig. We've had 2 attempted pit maneuvers by LAPD. Those clearly weren't successful because the pursuit continues. And now we're seeing those black and whites get a little bit closer. Speeds, though, too fast for a pit maneuver since they are above 60 miles per hour. So we just crossed over Hawks Point Drive. It says now we're moving to the Whittier area. Our extreme nav technology helps out in terms of city to city if we're going to stay on these surface streets. It's at this rate, we've covered quite a few miles, Stu.
We're still making our way here on the on Beach Boulevard South. It says South Beach Boulevard, but we're clearly going a northbound direction. That vehicle driving so slowly is actually adding to the safety factor of what's going on here until he makes a left turn right there illegally in front of everybody else. But what was going on right there was because of the fact that he was driving so slowly, the traffic was moving farther ahead of him. Now we're making our way southbound on Beach once again. Speed's picking up just a little bit. LAPD, they're right there behind him. They, you know, time definitely on their side as long as this vehicle continues to drive at regular speeds and there isn't that much danger to the public. But when he starts driving a little bit quicker, starts running those red lights, clearly the longer he's doing it, the more dangerous it becomes and the odds become higher that somebody might get hurt. Right now, though, these officers very disciplined in the fact that they are basically just staying right behind him right there, not taking every attempt to pit that vehicle or bring it to an end aggressively as this suspect continues to lead officers in this chase out here in the as we're leaving the Whittier area and getting back into the Buena Park, Garden Grove, I'm sorry, Fullerton area. You know, this vehicle just continues to elude these officers. Right now, though, not a lot of traffic on their southbound lanes on the beach. There are some major intersections, and again, folks, they probably are not even really sure what's going on. I know that those officers have lights and sirens. That'll help alert the public. There you go. You have a solid red light down there, and the cross traffic just got a green. So we'll see what goes on as that vehicle pretty much never has to stop, but this time has stopped right there. And again, just, you know, there he goes. Basically just kind of waited for a moment or two and basically ran that red light. A number of officers behind him, and we're continuing now southbound on Beach Boulevard, making our way back over towards the 5 freeway. Hopefully he doesn't get back on that freeway. That's something I don't think I could watch again, as you were saying, Marla, driving the wrong way. That was nail-biting, to say the least.
Yes, and yeah, it is nice that it's this calmer situation. Okay. Oh, do we have... Was that just an officer who sped by? No.
Yep. So we don't know if that vehicle right there is going to, see, that's the thing too, that suspect saw what was going on. But there you go. It didn't take that opportunity, but saw what was going on. We've talked about the spike strips.
Right.
We've talked about, you know, the pit maneuver, that vehicle, that LAPD vehicle moving way ahead of him. But this is a really large street, Marla. Take a look at this. I mean, how many lanes are down there? I'm being serious. I can't really tell because of the glare on the monitor. And again, there he goes. Made another U-turn. So there you go. This guy clearly aware of what's going on around him, clearly aware that these officers might be trying to put those spike strips out, and that's probably what we just saw right there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That vehicle, yeah, making this turn now, going back that same direction. Speeds, they're about what you'd be driving on this road at any rate, but there's so many folks out here right now, and, you know, are they going to be able to shut down the road, get the civilians off the road? It would be a real task for them to do something like that. But right now, this car continues just making his way out here. We've seen a couple of those U-turns. Maybe he'll do it again. But officers from LAPD, they're tasked with that difficulty. It's like, how do they stop this vehicle safely and bring this thing to an end?
It doesn't look like this Honda Civic has significant auto body damage, does it, from those two pit maneuvers?
No,
it's hard to tell. It doesn't look like that.
Yeah, we've seen them in the past where they'll lose a rear bumper or something like that. In this case, it seems like it might be probably just some body work on those quarter panels, making that turn right there. So, and you can see some of that damage. It definitely has some damage right there, but not enough to create any kind of issue. Hopefully, I was kind of hoping that maybe when they hit him, it would damage the tire. Maybe he would be losing a wheel. That would probably bring it to an end as well. Right now, though, you can see we made our way onto, I believe this is Rosecrans. Here we go. Here we go. It looks like there's another opportunity, but the speeds, that suspect, he saw it coming. And now the speeds have increased once again. So definitely this guy's learning what's going on around him. At least he's aware that these officers are really trying to bring this to an end.
Yes.
But right now, they're just following lights and sirens as we make our way back toward, in the Buena Park area. But it looks like we are heading roughly eastbound, but we're could be heading back into the Whittier area. There's the LAPD airship, if you guys were wondering. Those folks in that airship been very calm, calling this pursuit out this afternoon and keeping track of it and keeping track of their officers as well, getting them in position and giving them ideas to how they can bring this to an end.
All right, so we're on Rosecrans Avenue. For those viewers who may just be tuning in and you thought you were going to see Dr. Oz, we are bringing you, and we've been bringing this to you since about 12:45 this afternoon. It is a carjacking suspect from South LA. That's where this all started, about 12:30. So it's been underway for just over an hour now. This carjacking suspect leading LAPD officers into Orange County. This is on surface streets in the Buena Park area, going through another intersection. And we've seen 2 attempted pit maneuvers. They were unsuccessful. We saw a standoff on the 5 freeway at, making a U-turn right there.
Yeah, another U-turn right there, making his way back through that same intersection. Again, though, those officers from LAPD probably a little frustrated. They are humans just like you and I, and you can see that one making his way right now.
Yep.
But again, every time they get close enough, that suspect really just opens it up and creates that gap, and also gets those speeds up to where it becomes unsafe for that pit maneuver. Going right underneath SkyFOX right there. Vinny doing an amazing job keeping it on the camera. Angie just basically holding us right here as that vehicle drives underneath us. The LAPD airship much lower, and they're able to stay with it, and they've basically just been tracking it the entire time. Now the speed's picking up again, so it shows you that that vehicle just fine. All that suspicion about possibly a mechanical issue, probably not. Just that driver, just being, just keeping the officers that far away from him that they can't take him into custody. Hopefully, in the end, it's just going to be one of those, he pulls over, or the vehicle runs out of gas, or whatever it may be, and nobody is hurt, but eventually that suspect going into custody.
And we are hearing, I'm not sure if we got that confirmed yet, Stu, that this suspect is in fact armed.
Well, he is armed, but what he is armed with, that is the question. The LAPD airship basically gave us that information earlier on, saying that it is an armed carjacking, but we don't know if it was a knife that that person used or if it was a gun, but definitely a weapon involved, and that might be one of the reasons why in the beginning they were a little bit less aggressive on those pit maneuvers. They clearly, whatever it was, they have the information down there on the ground that whatever that weapon was, they feel safe enough where they'll be able to pit it and have that suspect facing them. Right now, though, another hard turn, putting himself into traffic. So it just gets more and more confusing on what this guy is doing. Kind of stopped right there behind the tree. Don't know if he's blocked in or what's going on. It was blocked in. And again, making his way on an emergency lane right there, making his way, basically just making big U-turns. Changed his mind this time, didn't take the street he took last time, but staying on Beach. So he just went through Rosecrans. Right now, though, you would just keep an eye on it. And LAPD, they're pretty much doing the same thing. Okay, so we're back on Beach Boulevard now in La Mirada. Speeds under 40 miles per hour. Still too quick for another pit maneuver attempt. Stu, I'm going to ask you, just from our assignment desk, getting word that this is a GTA suspect, a grand theft auto suspect. What is that? Is that the same thing as a carjacking suspect? No, a grand theft would be just like the vehicle was stolen. That was the original call.
Okay.
That was the original call. That was what started all this, was a grand theft auto, meaning a straight stolen. That means, somebody came out and their car was gone. They bumped that up in as far as the type that you have somebody else trying to do a pit maneuver right there. Folks on the ground, we never want to see any. Yeah, we never want to see anything like this. We've seen some interesting things like this in the past, but LAPD, they don't want to see any of this stuff. They don't want any kind of help, and it's not because of pride or anything weird like that. They don't want it because they don't want to see anybody get hurt. Unless that driver is a law enforcement officer, the chances are that he is not trained, or she is not trained on how to bring this to an end safely. But again, that vehicle right there really just kind of keeping up with that suspect, and now maybe just figured I gave it my best shot, I'm out of here. LAPD, there we go, another U-turn, and that guy wanted to get away from that civilian. more than he seems just as badly as he wants to get away from these officers. Another U-turn right there. A lot of these folks getting out of the way, so you know there's lights and sirens on down there. But again, what we were talking about, the GTA, that Grand Theft Auto, that was the original call on this. They bumped that up.
Sorry to confuse the situation.
Severity.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
so we're dealing with an armed carjacking suspect. This driver making U-turns on Beach Boulevard. At this point, going back and forth, doing everything that he or she can to stay out of custody. We've seen a standoff on the 5 freeway in Buena Park at Artesia Boulevard. Now we're seeing speeds pick back up to 70+ miles per hour. We've seen a couple of attempted pit maneuvers. We saw LAPD trying to coordinate a spike strip situation.
A lot of traffic coming up. A lot of traffic.
All right, Stu, so you're saying there is a lot of traffic coming up.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Marla. It wasn't, that really wasn't for you or for the viewers. Yeah, I was just kind of giving everybody a heads up. There's a lot of traffic now on Beach Boulevard, probably because of all this activity. I'm even looking, it looks like he's going to be able to make his move there in that lane that you see, but that becomes blocked as well. So it is going to become really, really tight right there. And when that light goes green, which probably isn't going to happen for a moment or two, he might be able to get on the go again. But officers, they're going to be very cautious about getting out of their vehicles and approaching that car, especially with civilians around. They don't want to see anybody get hurt. There we go. That was, I was saying how that lane was blocked. Looks like he's basically getting spike strip. There you go, right in front of him.
Right there.
And how are you going to get around that? Oh, that's not going to be good. There you go. And he did. So that's how he's going to get around that. We all saw it. But it was a good attempt there by these officers to try to bring this to an end. But again, though, you can see they are using tactics that are less aggressive, trying to bring this to an end. But the suspect just continues to drive. Officers continue to chase him. And SkyFOX continues to watch, but we might be getting to the point where we're going to have to go get fuel here shortly.
Yeah, we've been with this, Stu, for an hour officially with you because it's coming up on the quarter hour here in the 1 o'clock hour. Dr. Oz is typically on, but instead we've been following this carjacking suspect into Orange County from South LA. We've seen our first attempt at a spike strip and the suspect outsmarting that attempt, driving literally around those spike strips, has its wide open street now on Beach Boulevard. Again, this is the Garden Grove area, Buena Park, pardon me. Oh no, we are back in that area where it's sort of mixed. And plenty of LAPD officers behind him, 2 attempted pit maneuvers. And still, the suspect is managing to stay out of custody. But really, Stu, it's only a matter of time.
Well, most of the time it is just a matter of time, and especially with what's been going on and the fact that he put so many people in danger there on the 5 freeway this afternoon. LAPD is going to stay with this for quite some time. You know, I'm sure Orange County, in this area, whatever the law enforcement bureau that handles this particular part of Garden Grove or the Buena Park area, they've got to know this is going on in their neighborhood. The fact that they're not joining in is probably more of a coordination issue than anything else. You can see that vehicle now. It looks like we are moving off of the bigger streets back onto Alondra. And again, a long straightaway. There's nothing, I'm telling you, there are no cars after that one. There are no cars on the roadway for quite some distance. So this would be the spot where they would have a good opportunity to do another pit maneuver. But again, if the speeds get too high, with all those eyes on that officer, all those judging eyes on that officer, they might not do it, or they might. But you can see right there, but at 60 miles an hour, that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
But there are no other cars, and they are making their way up to another major up there where there are cars. But there was that long section right there with no vehicles around. And again, you know, that officer, they don't want to injure themselves. They don't want to injure their partner. And again, I've said it in the past, and it is the honest truth. They don't want to hurt, even injure that suspect. They just want to bring this to an end safely and get that suspect into custody. Right now, though, we're continuing to move along out here. And again, we got it to another spot. There's plenty of cars out there, so it's going to be a more dangerous spot if they try to do a pit maneuver out here right now.
Okay, officially La Mirada, Alondra Boulevard, speeds right now where they could do a pit maneuver, but given the traffic on either side, they can't. But as soon as they get that open road, it looks like they're going to be aggressive enough to try for another pit maneuver. And the suspect can feel it. The suspect knows.
Yeah, you know, Marla, I mean, we've been watching this for quite some time, and you just got to kind of wonder, you know, those Explorers, they are weighed down. There's a lot of weight inside those vehicles, but they are just V6s. And then you've got that little Honda Civic. You know, it is a four-door. You know, I don't know what it has done to it, but those are little four-cylinders. It's amazing that they can be able to just kind of scoot out of the way of the officers. We've been watching this constantly, and again, it just shows you, like, when they're requisitioning vehicles, you know, they don't look for those, you know, faster, powerful. You know, LAPD, they want reliable, and they want, and that's it, basically, just a very reliable vehicle that's safe. And that might be one of the reasons why we can see that little Honda Civic just kind of scoot its way away from these heavy cruisers. Right here's a big intersection. Somebody didn't hear the sirens, but that big rig did. That suspect slowing down again. We're making our way into Santa Fe Springs, so we're getting out of that Orange County area, making our way back into LA County. But, you know, something else, Marla, that we're looking at right there is, you know, we don't see any more LAPD officers showing up. We don't see anything like that. And it seems like, you know, LAPD is like, okay, this is your assignment. Stop that vehicle. We're going to give you 2, 4, 6 black and whites, you know, make it happen. And that's all they have down there. And right now, it's basically just to follow this vehicle. Hopefully he does something that might disable that car, maybe hit a curve, lose a tire, something like that. Hopefully nobody gets hurt, but it continues on. LAPD doing what they can just to bring this to an end.
Yes, and if you compare it to when we started the erratic driving that we were seeing beforehand, I mean, sure, obviously.
We're still going to Fullerton, right?
The driver has been driving more reasonably, let's just say that, than early on in this pursuit, which is good news. And it's also good news that these streets aren't crowded with vehicles this Friday afternoon, as now we're nearing the 2 o'clock hour. But nonetheless, a very dangerous pursuit suspect, a carjacking suspect out of South LA, armed, mind you, eluded a spike strip effort, and then also 2 pit maneuvers where those officers actually made contact with that Honda Civic, but to no avail. And here we go again. We've seen this sort of weaving in and out of intersections, deciding on where to turn or where not to turn based on traffic volume, and sticking with the Alondra Boulevard now in the Santa Fe Springs area. The most intense moment of this pursuit, I would say, was right before the standoff on the 5 freeway in Buena Park, when this suspect was driving at speeds of 60 miles per hour plus the wrong way on the 5 freeway, so heading north in the southbound lanes. Several near misses that lasted for several miles, and fortunately we can report that no one was hurt. There may have been one accident as a result of that, but it was Stu saw that and reported back that it was just a minor collision between some 2 innocent drivers, so we hope that they're physically okay. As we continue to watch this carjacking suspect in Norwalk now, taking Alondra all the way into Norwalk, speeds about 50 miles per hour. The protocol is, if you're going to do a pit maneuver, a pursuit intervention technique, that's what that stands for, it needs to be below 35 miles per hour ideally. So although we're seeing this officer pick up speeds, maybe he's going to try it, even though it's above that 35 mile per hour threshold, Stu.
Yeah, and it's just created a turn right there, making a northbound turn there on Bloomfield. You know, we're, like you said, we're in the Norwalk area. This is clearly the Sheriff's Department's area. Here we go again, getting up really close, and it didn't happen once again. Put him on the wrong side of the road, though. Every time he does that, it just makes it more and more dangerous. I'm just putting it out there. We're going to stay here. We've been doing the math back and forth, back to Fullerton for fuel. We're going to stay as long as we can, but it is getting pretty close to that moment where we're going to have to say we have to go. And believe you me, I am more than wanting to stay. I always want to see these things come to an end. I want to see the conclusion. But right now, you know, safety for the helicopter and the crew is paramount as well. Right now, though, there you go. Officer throwing out a spike strip. Oh! I don't know if he got it. It was close. It did. Vinny's saying it did hit the back tire. Unclear if it actually took out that tire, but it bounced off of it for sure. What a valiant effort! That guy's definitely getting a gold star when he gets back to the station this afternoon. Right now, though, that vehicle kind of running on its own with none of these officers right behind it because of that spike strip deployment and the fact that he made that little crazy U-turn. But right now, making his way back onto Alondra. Yeah, back onto Alondra. That's where he was on earlier on. Now, we've seen it in the past. Those spike strips don't blow that tire out. The air is going to come out very, very slowly if it was effective. So we'll keep an eye on it. That might actually slow that car down even more, and that might make make the pit maneuver with the vehicle more pliable. That might happen. Right now, though, I can tell you Angie's doing math. She's got the abacus out and flipping beads and trying to figure out how long it's going to be to get back to the airport. She wants to keep us here as long as possible. But again, safety is definitely on our list as well. Sure. But they're making another hard U-turn right there, but it doesn't look like that rear tire is going to be going flat. Yeah, so at any rate, but what a valiant effort. That officer just out there saw the opportunity, seized it, and threw that spike strip best he could. Hit the vehicle, but maybe it was the spike strips were laying on their sides. At any rate, that car continues to go. LAPD continues to chase it. Norwalk area, and it's, like we said, it's more than just a theft. This person took that vehicle by force from the owner. That makes that suspect a little bit more dangerous, but a type of robbery. And but you can see that LAPD gaining on him once again. Looks like another wrong side of the road deal. Every time he does that, makes it much more dangerous for the public, makes it a little bit more tense for us up here. But Vinny's kind of calming my nerves, as it would be, showing me that, look, there isn't that much ahead of him right there, and everybody's kind of getting over to the side of the road. There is a semi, so there is that. And you can see that LAPD helicopter calling it out down there. The LAPD cruisers, they're going to stay on the right side of the road. And hopefully this vehicle doesn't collide with anything as he runs another red light and continues to stay on the wrong side of the road out here. Gosh.
Okay, so we have this, here we go again, right? Against traffic, wrong side of the road, Alondra Boulevard. This is the Santa Fe Springs area. Speeds in the 40s. Oh, my goodness, another near miss.
That's a plus. And yeah, a couple of near misses. That when I said that's a plus right there is we're actually making our way back towards the airport where we're going to have to get fuel. So it's going to let us stay here just a little bit longer. But you can see right there, this car, look how tight it is. And then somebody making a turn. Somebody else making a U-turn. There you go. Oh, you saw him. I don't know if that was on purpose or he was just trying to get out of his way, but it did look like he tried to back up to block that guy in. So, the public kind of done with this, as well as probably a lot of these viewers. I know LAPD, these guys really, they are trained professionals, but they just want to bring this thing to an end. They want to get this guy into custody. Right now, though, that suspect just has been taking so many chances. Hopefully, those chances are going to, stay on his side with luck and nobody gets hurt.
Yes, that of course is always the hope, and that's why we cover these pursuits, to keep everybody in these neighborhoods safe when we have a reckless driver on the road. And this pursuit suspect has been on the road now for almost 90 minutes from South LA to now Cerritos. This is Carmenita Road. This is all thanks to our extreme nav technology, which puts us where this is. More than what now we're seeing 2 spike strip attempts, 2 pit maneuver attempts as well. The pursuit continues. A carjacking suspect at another intersection in a Honda Civic, 4-door silver, tinted windows. We know this person is said to be armed. This is according to officials, an armed carjacking suspect. Extremely dangerous by the fact that A, they're armed, and then B, how erratic that they've been driving for the last 90 minutes. Now in Orange County, that's where it started, of course, in LA County, and now back to the Downey, Norwalk area. Our crew up in SkyFOX, Stu Mandel, our pilot Angie, and Vinny Mack with the photography here for us. They're into a situation where they're going to be running out of fuel momentarily. We've been keeping with this pursuit, though, with you, Stu, for more than an hour now.
That's right, Marlon. You know what? Our fuel light is on, and not like the guys and the gals and ourselves on the ground when we're driving and we got that fuel light and we're just like, yeah, we'll make it. We sadly have to make our way back over to Fullerton, and we are going to make that attempt right now. We'll keep the shot as long as we can. Those numbers right now, 103, 105, those are wrong because of the distance that that it is looking. But you can see that the pursuit continues on. We'll get fuel as quickly as possible, Marla. Hopefully it'll be over. I can't believe I said that, but hopefully it'll be over. But if it's not, we definitely will be back up and over it as soon as we get fuel. But right now, SkyFOX making their way over to Fullerton for fuel. Marla, sorry about that.
Okay, well, we will continue to track this here in the Fox 11 newsroom, and for sure we will have a wrap-up for you at 5 o'clock, but of course we're going to fuel up, and if we can get back to the pursuit, we will come back to you live on the air. So you can expect that from us here at Fox 11. We thank you for sticking with us throughout this pursuit. Dr. Oz is just wrapping up his show, and at 2 o'clock you're going to see Meredith Vieira and 25 Words or Less. So we're just a couple minutes away from that. This all started with the Fox 11 News at noon, and as mentioned, if in fact we can fuel and then get back up in the air and bring you this pursuit, we will break into coverage again to continue and carry on. Otherwise, you can expect a full wrap-up tonight on the Fox 11 News at 5. Okay, thank you so much for being with us. Stu and crew, land safe.